right, y'all. I ain't gonna hold too many people. Uh, you know, I ain't gonna hold. I figured I'd go live after the game on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys beat the Chiefs 31-28. Which on cover three, if you guys watched the show yesterday, my prediction was that the Cowboys were going to win 27-24. I thought that it would come down to a field goal at the end. Aubrey. I was pretty close with the score prediction. Me and Rome both had uh we both had 27-24. So Eddie Lowe says we were supposed to win, to be honest. And yeah, I think so. I think that really what it came down to is whether or not Dallas was ready to win that type of game, where the Chiefs needed to have it, and they were able to make enough plays to win. Um, and you got Detroit coming up next. You know what I'm saying? For the people that's watching, hit that like button for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all for stopping by. What's up, Eddie? What's up, Michael? Um, Dak Prescott put together another really good performance. Mike Jones said Matt Eberflus is garbage. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. Look, this is my feelings towards the defensive performance today. I thought that Pat Mahomes towards the second half in the second half, Pat Mahomes made some plays, y'all. I mean, he probably made one of the greatest plays that I've really seen. Where what I'm saying, they hit his ankle, he fall down, and then he completes a pass down the field, which probably should have been a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Eberflus, so I ain't making no. It is what it is. I'm not a fan of Eberflus, but I do think that they get paid to make plays too, and I do think that Pat Mahomes made some plays in the game that made it a tough one, and I think that Dak Prescott was able to hold serve for the most part of the game. I think that Dak Prescott was big time today. He started the game, throwing kind of floaty passes, and I don't know that if he had to get warmed up, maybe he had some shoulder injury. Like, you got to remember too, on these Thursday night games, they flip it real quick, and they got to turn around, so you don't get a whole week to rehab the way that you need to rehab. And I thought that Dak, I didn't like the way that it was coming out of his hands, the way he was throwing it early. It was kind of floaty, he was kind of babying it a little bit, but as the game wore on, he was able to make some throws, make some plays down the field. Um, they were able to just outlast the Chiefs. That's pretty much what it came down to. Both teams were physical. I think Dallas was just a little bit more. Dallas was just a little bit better in every area. You know what I'm saying? Just a tad bit better, and that's what won them the game. It was a team. It was a team win. There were some questionable calls, and I do think that the refs got a little flag happy in the second half, but ultimately, I do think that the better team won today. They definitely won. Michael James says that Amon Ra got hurt today. I don't know what he got. I don't know what his injury is, and I know that it's not going to be a quick turnaround. But I know he got hurt today, and we'll see where that lands them. But even if he wasn't hurt, even if he was healthy, I still think that the Cowboys have a chance to beat Detroit. I don't think Detroit's a juggernaut. I think Detroit, I think that if you're a team that's weak and you're limping going into that game, they're gonna beat the hell out of you. But I think that if you can swing back and hit them in the mouth, you know what I'm saying? I think Detroit is soft. I think Detroit is a soft football team. Yeah, I said it. Like, it is what it is. Like, Lions fans, y'all, they can clip me up. I love Jameer Gibbs, love Montgomery, love some of the things that they can do offensively, but they soft when it comes to playing against good teams. It is what it is. Lord Nova, what's going on, my guy? Said we back. I think that Dallas is putting together some good football. The trade was, hey, look, it brought life back into the Cowboys. It definitely did. Quentin Williams, you can't run. It's going to be a tough day trying to run or impose your will on Dallas and on the interior. Those days are gone. You're gonna have to try and beat them in the passing game, and that's the thing about the Lions. The Lions want to be able to run the football, and that's what you're going to see in that matchup. It's going to be either the Lions can run the football, or and I know it's going to sound simple what I'm saying, but I don't think that Golf is good enough just dropping back, throwing the ball. And he's just going to beat you that way without the run. And Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a problem in space for Dallas. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be he's going to be a problem for the linebackers, the safeties that try and tackle him in space. That is going to be an issue. But as far as like if they're not able to run in between the tackles, which Detroit is pretty good with like outside zone or inside zone and duo and stuff like that. They're not able to get those things going like they really want to get going. I don't. I think the way to really beat them is to make Jared Goff have to drop back and pass, and he's not going to be able to dot you up like that. Abigail said the Packers won against the Lions. Yep, absolutely. What's going on, Abigail? What's going on? How you doing? Oh man, I don't even know if I can, but yeah. But ultimately, that was probably the best game that I've seen Dallas play on Thanksgiving in a long time. The last, I felt like the over recent history, they have not really shown so much on Thanksgiving. So that's crazy. Amazing Creation News Channel says DMV we may not lose anymore. It's possible that this was actually the toughest stretch of the schedule when you look in the preseason for the Cowboys, and it's like these would have been the games that I thought that maybe Dallas would have started losing a little bit. I thought Dallas was going to jump out the gate early on in the season, and then this would be the tough part, and then they figure it out down the stretch. But now you beat Philadelphia, you beat the Chiefs, and then you get the Lions. And if you're able to go trifecta in those matchups right there, then you cook them with grease. The problem is with Dallas is it's an uphill battle in the schedule. Now if they can get through this, if they can get through and they can somehow win out and get to the playoffs, you're battle tested. And that's the one thing, Cowboy fans, that you've been clamoring for a long time is to know that this team can be battle tested and trust the team when you play really good teams. And that's what you'll see. You'll be able to see this down the stretch of this. Now, I don't know if it'll be enough for them to get in the playoffs. And, you don't deserve to go in the playoffs if you start the way that they do. But what you can do is carry that over into next year. You can be a little bit more aggressive in free agency and in the draft. And, you know what I'm saying? I think that what Jerry has learned this offseason, or this season actually, not even the offseason, is that he can be aggressive and it can pay dividends. And him being aggressive in the trade market in the trade market, being aggressive in the trade market, which they hadn't been, has paid dividends for them. Now, if they can somehow do that in the free agency and then in the draft, you know what I'm saying, not saying, oh, you just got to go get a damn lineman, then they might be all right. Because look, you go draft some George Pickenses, you go draft some Quinnen Williams. They have been going away from that. You know what I'm saying? My man said autistic Von Miller. That's hilarious. Say 7 sizzling. Hell no. You say it. Hey, bro, we got some crazy people in here. It is what it is. We got some crazy people in here. Must be some Chiefs fans or Philly fans or whatever the hell it is. Aiden says Dallas Cowboys got a Super Bowl team for the future. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? When I was telling Tuck, I was telling Rome, I was telling them yesterday, they just got to be aggressive. That's all. You know what I'm saying? They just got to be aggressive when it comes to the next 2 years. You know, everybody's like, oh, in 5 years or the future and all of this type of stuff. I think that what the trade market has shown you is that you got to kind of go for broke now. Amazing creation, new Stephen A. looking stupid now. DMV, I hate that guy, but I think at the beginning of the year, Stephen A. said that he thought that the Cowboys would make the playoffs. So I don't know what he's talking about as of recent because I don't watch First Take, so I don't know some of the things that. If I'm being honest with you, I just kind of watch maybe some YouTube content, some TikTok stuff like that, but I don't know what the mainstream people are saying right now. The only thing that I really know is I knew that the last two games I felt like Dallas could win, and I feel like they can beat Detroit too. I feel like they can beat Detroit too. I was more actually worried about the Raiders than I was the last two opponents. But I think that like it was because Quentin Williams hadn't played a game yet, and you didn't know what they would do, what Eberflus would be able to do. That 5 down lineman thing that Dallas has, that's tough. That's tough against the run, man. It just is. You know what I'm saying? It is. You're gonna have to now. What Dallas is gonna have to figure out, you got Overshown back. If they can somehow get Trayvon Diggs on board to go out there and play, it would be because you can't tell me that they don't miss him right now. They definitely do. They definitely could use him because some of these pitch and catch completions that's happening against the Cowboys secondary, they wouldn't happen if Trey was there. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't. Aiden, George Pickens is crazy. He never gives up. He is our number one receiver. CeeDee Lamb finally learns that he can actually catch the football. I knew that CeeDee was going to have a big day today. He was due. I knew that Kansas City was probably going to roll a little bit more coverage to George Pickens. Or I knew that they were going to be a little bit more handsy, a little bit more physical at the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I mean, I kind of figured all CeeDee had to do was kind of catch the football, and he would have had a big game the week. The last 2 weeks, he would have had big games, really, if he just would have caught the football. Grog says, do you like the Cowboys? I like the I like my support. I like the people that support, that like the Cowboys, but as far as being a Cowboys fan, I'm not a Cowboys fan right now. I'm calling it straight down the middle. I'm doing content for the people that are Cowboys fans that want to listen. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that, you know. And you know, I'll tell you straight up. If they play bad, I'll tell you if they playing bad. They're playing well, I'll tell you if they playing well. If they have a favorable matchup, I'll tell you that. So, hey, appreciate you, my dude. Appreciate you. And look, my sister's an Eagles fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm at our house right now. You know, my sister's an Eagles fan. So I don't have an issue with the Eagles. Quite frankly, we were just talking about the Eagles, and I expect the Eagles to make another run. Hold on, give me 1 sec. Let me show that one. All right. I expect the Eagles to make another run. I just thought that last week with the injuries piling up and the tough schedule that they had going into that, I just felt like Dallas was going to win that game. I felt like it lined up perfectly for Dallas, who was a little bit more fresh. And then they just had to trade to where Philly didn't really have the tape on Quentin Williams like that. They didn't really have that. So it was more of an advantage toward Dallas. Plus, it was a home game. So I just felt like Dallas was going to win that game last week. And same thing kind of with the Chiefs here. I just felt like with the interior not having so much data on how Dallas is using Quentin Williams and not being able to step up in the pocket or set the run up like you want to. It's just for good teams, it's kind of a disadvantage right now for them. And then Dallas is also getting a little bit, they're getting healthy. So you got Overshown back. You got revel. You got some guys who are playing on fresh legs, even though they're coming off an injury. Micah Parsons is on a tear. I don't know if you hate Micah Parsons or not. He has double-digit sacks now. Nah, I love Micah Parsons. I think I I didn't want Dallas to trade him. That actually led to that wasn't the final straw, but it was one of them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like how that went down. But if you had told me that they would make it a football decision instead of a theatrics or all of that type of stuff, then I'd have been all right. Like if they had traded Micah like around the draft time, got some draft capital, then you know what I'm saying, made some football moves, you go get Quentin Williams, you do all that stuff, I'd have been like, oh yeah, yeah. Because I do think that Dallas on the back end of it, they definitely I think that they won that trade. They're gonna win it for the future. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna win it for the future. Green Bay, I think they're a good defense. I think they're a good team, but I don't think that Jordan Love is good enough to win them a Super Bowl. I don't think he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he makes me eat my words later on. But we'll see though. I like the way that Dak is playing for Dallas right now. I think when you gave him a true X receiver in George Pickens, it made his game. It took the pressure off of him, and he's playing probably some of the most calm, efficient football that I've seen him play in a long time. Actually, probably ever. All right, Grog says, "Yeah, man, it's crazy how many people are injured this year, so it's not as fun not having the NFL face." So here's the thing about the injuries, man. I think that lack of preseason is part of the problem, but with lack of preseason and then making the season longer, I think you're making guys more susceptible to injuries. Also, too, the non-contact practices and stuff like that, players can't get calloused to endure long seasons like they had been in the past. So, long story short, these players are getting softer because of the soft rules, if that makes sense. So that's why guys are getting hurt. That's why guys are getting hurt. Yeah, Aiden, I think Mike is better with Green Bay than he is with Dallas, and that's because he has more people around him in Green Bay. He has a better supporting cast, which I felt like in Dallas they could have gave him a supporting cast. They just didn't want to go aggressive. They didn't want to attack the interior, like with getting the interior guys that they have right now. They didn't want to go get linebackers like that. And that was pretty much it. And then on top of that, you have so many defensive coordinators over the years that you really can't even get any type of continuity there. So with Green Bay, they have a lot of things in place, and they just kind of plugged him in as a pass rusher, and he's been able to kind of eat over there. He's actually doing really good against the run too. He's not doing bad against the run. Like no matter what people tell you, like I sit there and I watch the film, and when they say, like, they're not running at Micah like that. They're not bouncing him, getting him about the way and all of that. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it was a trade that worked for both teams. It really worked for both guys. So when I said Dallas won the trade, I'm going to go back and say both teams won. Both sides won. You know what I'm saying? So and sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you can get a trade to where it works out for both parties, and I think that it did. Bro looked like black dude from Red Dead Redemption 2, that Arthur project. I don't know what that means, but I bet I could take your old lady though. I bet that. People got a lot to say. People got a lot to say about this hat, but hey, I bet your old lady don't think that. How about that? Now, yeah, everybody got all that stuff to say. You know what I'm saying? People got all that stuff to say. They always joking and stuff like that. They ain't never got no pictures. They got their avatars ain't got nothing on it. Like it's always them people that got enough to say. But it is what it is. I can take a roast. It is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like this hat. I like what it looked like. I think that it's kind of fun. But I really started wearing the hat though. I'll tell you why I started wearing the hat. When Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys. I don't know if y'all remember Ferg. Ferg was kind of like he was kind of like Travis Kelce. Had the fade, had the tight fade. Ferg was in the black barbershops. Ferg was, you know what I'm saying? Ferg had juice, if you know what juice is. All of a sudden, Ferg started wearing that cowboy hat. He started becoming corporate Ferg, and it got him paid. So what I said to myself was, I'm about to throw this black cowboy hat on. Hell, if Ferg can get paid, I can get paid. It is what it is. Tyler Joe says, how about them Cowboys? DMV, my Cowboys won the Chiefs. That was awesome. I'm fired up. I watched most of the game. Hey, congrats to you, bro. Congrats to you. Baltimore Ravens versus Bengals is an interesting game. Lamar versus Joe Burrow back. Ignore Bengals 3-8 record. Yeah, I agree. And both teams are kind of shells of themselves right now. They're both shells of themselves. I don't know what to expect, but I do know that Baltimore is trying to crawl back into the playoff race. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm a stallion. Okay, cool. Hey, throw me a super chat then, my guy. Mr. Rich Multiculturalist, man. Throw me a super chat. I bet you couldn't. Nah. Yeah. But yeah, nah, it's an intriguing game tonight. I look forward to watching it. You know, I love football games like that, to where you don't know what's gonna happen. What's up, Alex Rodriguez? A-Rod, what's up, man? How about them Cowboys? Hey, congratulations to you, bro. Congratulations. Oh yeah, my son is a Ravens fan, so I know he gonna be going crazy. You probably gonna hear him in the background. You know, I figure I'd go on for about half an hour or whatnot. What's going on, Braden? How you doing? Salute, salute, salute. Um, so Baltimore's leading the division right now. I know that it was close, and that I know that we talked about this over here not too long ago to about whether or not the Ravens should like just tank for the rest of the year. And I knew that they were close. They were closer than what it looked like with their record. And so yeah, I mean that's kind of what Pittsburgh does though. Pittsburgh they start off hot and then they kind of end up around the 8-9, 9-8. Well, no, it'd be like 9-8 because Tomlin don't finish under 500. But I knew that the Ravens had an opportunity, especially with them playing down the stretch and stuff like that. So that's what's up. Yeah, it was good to see Dak bounce back from that pick, Mr. Kima. It definitely was. Typically, in the past, we would watch those type of plays happen, and then Dallas would kind of fold. They would fold. So the last couple of weeks, they've had situations to where you would watch them in the past, they would fold no matter what. And to watch them kind of fight, it lets me know that they have different types of players in that building. Not the typical cowboy that we had talked about, but you got guys with pedigree now. You got guys that are used to winning in college all the way up. So Wizzy Ma says we just beat both the teams that played in the Super Bowl last year. We can beat anybody when we lock in and execute. Heck of a game, Coach Shoddy. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, and I was critical about Shoddy coaching last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, where I thought the players bailed him out. And today, I thought that Shoddy coached a much better game. He didn't have as many of the blunders this week that he had last week. And like I said, guys are playing. They're playing with purpose. They're playing with intention. They're playing tough. They're playing hard. And I think that sometimes it could be an unfortunate thing that can make you band together and really just make you a better football team or a better football. Or actually, it's not even just football. Sometimes things can happen in life to where it motivates you to just stay on task. And I think that that's what happened with this Marshawn Nealon death. With I think that that's kind of what it is. And I've been a part of a team like that in the past when I coached, and I can tell you that sometimes special things happen when you go through something like that. special things happen, and I think that that's probably why they're fighting the way that they are. You know, Aiden, New York Giants getting a new coach with a ton of talent. That new coach could have New York in the playoffs, and New York Giants and Eagles was the rivalry. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it was time for Dayball to go. Um, it was time. If they get a strong willed coach in there that can work with the young quarterback, they've had some talent for a while. I thought they just haven't put it together in New York. Now they got a young quarterback in Jackson Dart. Uh, if they get a good coach with a good staff, they definitely have the core of young guys who are on rookie deals and stuff like that. If they could put it together, if they can get a good coach in there, I think that New York will be they be back sooner than what people think. They were actually competing. It's not like New York is just you play New York and you just whooping on them. They have made it tough for a lot of opponents out here, and I mean good teams too, like Denver. They made it tough for Denver. They whooped up on Philly. Um, they well, I mean Dallas has a winning record now, but they made it tough for Dallas when they had Russell Wilson at quarterback. Um, So a good coach can flip the culture in New York, and they'll be right back. Yeah, that's definitely. I appreciate you, Malik, Aiden, for saying that, because that's something to think about, and that's something to think about for the offseason too, for the Giants, because they've been kind of drafting. They've been all right. They just need a coach. They need a coach they need a flipped culture. That's pretty much what it is. I think Dayball is a good offensive coordinator. I think that he might be good with quarterbacks, but as far as a head coach, he never really had it in New York. He never really had it. One year, I think they did okay, but looking at what Daniel Jones has been able to do with the Colts, with behind the running game and the defense, they were never able to assemble that in New York. And he always looked limited in New York. He doesn't look limited with the Colts. My man said start singing. Yeah. I just talked to Mark yesterday, or was it yesterday? I just talked to Mark either yesterday or the day before, and we were talking about going to Pittsburgh for the draft. So I definitely talked to Mark. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I talk to Cowboys buddy Mark all the time. Am I on tour with Jelly Roll? I don't even know who the hell that is. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's funny though. Hey, the trolls pay the price of admission. I don't know. Hey, bro, I swear, I think I know who it is. I think I know who the troll is. What's up with you though, man? I'm gonna be on with Simons tomorrow. I'm gonna be on with Simons tomorrow. I know who Jelly Roll is. I know who Jelly Roll is. Let's see, Aiden Jackson Dart didn't need Brian Daboll. Josh Allen didn't need him. So how good is he? We'll see, I guess, because he'll get another job. He'll get an opportunity. You know. Happy Thanksgiving, Tyler. What's up, Lola? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, my boy Rome is on. So I'm probably about to get off in a little bit though, man. Appreciate all the people that were able to tune in. You know, I just wanted to give a quick reaction after the game. I'm about to go enjoy some family time and enjoy some dessert. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I'm about to go. I'm gonna tell you guys this. Um, Go tune into my guy Rome. Rome has the best post game show that there is. He has the best post game show, best post game reactions. You know what I'm saying? Down to earth. If you don't know who Rome is, you've been under a rock. Cowboys fan talk. About to go tune in right now, man, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We out. Peace.